it's supposed to be challenging, so let it be challenging. Okay, so another thing that we like to do to prep for contractions, because what are contractions but just very great big sensation, right? So we're going to bring our arms out. We call these keep-ups. And you're going to flap your arms, set the timer for 3 minutes, and go. And this is one, again, counteracting sensation. So if you're in early labor, I actually tried this in early labor, and it just gets you connected in your heart, so your thymus gland. A lot of these postures and things that we do help with your glands, and your glands are this really hyper intelligent communication system. So for instance, your lower glands, like your adrenals, those that produce cortisol, stress hormone, as well as adrenaline, that's communicating to your body, fight or flight mode, time to get out, it's time to move. Now, we don't want any of that while we're birthing. We want to be in rest and digest mode. So we're stimulating the thymus gland by doing this. Breathing deep. And just set your timer for 3 minutes. I don't have a timer going, so we're just going to go by, as long as we feel here, and go by as long as you feel in the laboring process. But as you're prepping for labor, go ahead and set those timers. Let it be legit and let it be a good practice for you. But so we practice this. Why 3 minutes? Because typically, we're not talking about all of them, but typically contractions don't last longer than 3 minutes. And so sometimes they're longer, sometimes they're shorter, but we do this for 3 solid minutes, and it's really intense. And sometimes we want to put our arms down, but instead, when you don't get to put your arms down in a contraction, as in metaphorically speaking, we don't get to back out of the contraction and say, okay, I've had enough. It just keeps happening, right? So what are you guided to do but breathe? So that's what these teach you. They teach you to come into your heart and trust the sensation, to be guided by the sensation, to breathe into it. Deep breaths. You want to try this in early labor, but do it every day so that you're trained, right? So you're ready, because you are preparing for one of the greatest, most incredible events of your entire life, not to be taken lightly. Breathe deep. Over time, you'll learn to love this sensation. I know it sounds crazy, because when I first started doing keep-ups, I was like, oh my gosh. But then as I kept doing them, it's like, you can feel it stimulating your heart and bringing you into a heart-centered place. You can smile about them or frown about them, whatever feels best, but you're learning and you're training here. So, sometimes a contraction, we get into these places or hold onto our face and we kind of tighten and tense up. And I want to just teach you, Mama, relax. And what I mean by relax is soften. Let it soften you. Let it soften your muscles, right? Because that's what your body needs to do. It needs to soften to birth this baby. So when you're doing this, and sometimes I'll see mamas do this and they make these faces, I want to guide you to soften your face. Relax your jaw, and absolutely through every contraction, if you can, sing. Open up your throat and soften your throat. Your throat is a direct correlation to your cervix. When we tighten our throats, which is a... All right, keep it going. You want to soften your throat. Let's go for 10, 9. So keeping the throat soft is going to really help with your birthing process. Staying moving is going to help with your birthing process. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, arms up. Squeeze pelvic floor like you're refraining from going to the bathroom. And then exhale, release. And just kind of let it go. It doesn't last forever. We don't have to hold on to anything. The idea here is do not hold on to those contractions. They're gone. It's in the past. It's done. You won't be holding on to them when you're holding on to your baby. That's for sure. So let them go. It's a practice in and of itself, though. All right? So you can keep moving your arms. It's going to give you nice, strong yogi arms. For us mamas that like to really work it in our pregnancies and get strong. Those are gonna give you really strong arms to help carry those babies. Last little bit here. And you can do it. You absolutely can. The mind gets in the way, and the mind is fickle. We don't want to birth with the mind. We want to birth with our bodies. So the I can't isn't real. It's a fixation and a figmentation of your imagination. It's not real. You can actually. Your body knows how to birth. You know how to move your arms. You know how to swim. You know how to move when you're tired. And the process through this is let it soften you. Let it soften your heart. Let it stimulate your heart. Get in contact with that infinite source inside of you. That's really what we do when we practice yoga. We're just connecting to source. We're being reminded that we are infinite. Nothing has to be finite, and our minds are what create finite scenarios and situations, worries and fears and doubts. But you can transcend out of all of that by movement, right? Going beyond what you think is capable, what you're capable of. All right, inhale, arms up again. You can do that for 3 minutes too. If you really want to work on those arms, let it go. Either way, those babies are going to help you work on your arms. All right, grab your blanket. These are our birthing squats. They help the cervix efface, so really important. I say do these every single day. If you can, 15 of them, okay? So you want to have your blanket. Now, if baby is feet down or butt down, you're only going to do the half squat. And when I say that, I mean 36 weeks and later, where they're pretty big and the chances of them turning are becoming smaller and smaller. We don't need them getting too deep into the pelvis where it's harder for them to move out of it. Right, so some of the postures we did earlier can help them move out of the pelvis where you have your tailbone higher than your heart. But anyway, so feet are about hip width distance, wider if belly is bigger. This baby's coming very soon, as I'm sure you could see. So feet are about hip width distance. Inhale, hands wide and high. Hands come down through heart center. You're sliding down a wall with a super flat back. Here's the half squat. Hands come down onto the knees. You're gonna tuck your tailbone, roll your shoulders up and back. Inhale, hands wide and high. Half squat, 36 weeks and later, and baby is still feet or butt down. You wanna give them room to move, but these half squats are amazing. They really help get those legs strong. Spinning babies helps with breech babies. Beautiful, so one more half squat. And you'll just do these for the 15. Nothing to worry about. Remember, talk to your baby. They will turn. It's amazing how much they're listening to you. That goes for our children as well. Okay, going for the full squat now. So your feet are straight here. Okay, they're not ducked out. They're straight, and it's all about how your pelvis opens at the top and at the bottom. Widest opening at the top, widest opening at the bottom. So weight of baby helps to efface the cervix. That means thin the cervix, right? Which is going to help with labor. That's what labor is all about, is effacing. Okay, so as I'm doing this, my feet want to come in, so I need to bring my feet a little closer. All right, so I'm just going to come down. And then your feet are straight, your elbows can come within your knees. And I've noticed when I do frog pose, or where my feet are kind of ducked out, it's a lot of pressure on the pelvic floor. Some mamas, it doesn't feel good. So just be conscious of that. I notice with the feet straight, though, it feels really good. So fingertips down, you're gonna keep your knees bent and roll all the way up, one vertebrae at a time. Nice and slow. 15 of these. Inhale, hands wide and high. Exhale, sliding down a wall, super flat back. Settle right into it. Fingertips down. And you might want to just adjust your feet, but feet stay straight. Nice deep breath. I don't really cue breath with this, so just breathe. Settle right into it. Such a yummy place to be when you have a big, big baby growing. Beautiful. All the way up. Shoulders roll down and back. I think I even have a video on this page of these squats, my prenatal videos. We do these squats every single class because you can do these every day. This is such a great feeling, I'm telling you. Just breathing getting into it. So talk about labor. It's a great way to prep for labor, but it's also a great just position to sit in during labor. You can have a rebozo to hang on to, or a partner, or a bed, ball. Just a great place, helping baby get right down into the proper place. You're helping the effacing, right, process. Let your feet adjust as they need to, but feet stay straight, remember. Shoulders roll down. Inhale, hands wide and high. Exhale, settle down into the hips. Very good. So good, mama. Fingertips. Rolling the shoulders down and back. Inhale. Stretching is so nice, making lots of room. Very good. All right, we're just gonna do a few more just so we can get to the other little exercises. Dancing is really powerful for labor, so that's gonna be the next thing that we do. We'll do 2 more of these. So we have probably over maybe several hundred prenatal videos on our yoga library. And they all help with labor, they help with feeling comfortable in pregnancy. Everything is meant for a mama's growing body and growing baby. And every mama I've known has had, the mamas I've had in my classes recently have had incredible, miraculous births. It's so fun to hear their birth stories. It's just, like this one mama, she was unsure if she was gonna get an epidural or not. And you know, we facilitate however you birth is however you birth. Let's be graceful and approach it, because sometimes unplanned things happen during birth. It's very unpredictable. We'll do 2 more. And so she wasn't sure if she was gonna do epidural. She definitely didn't want to get induced, but she had to because she was at 41 weeks and 5 days. And so she got induced and ended up having a completely natural birth. Another mama of mine also had to get induced. They did it naturally first at this hospital. They're very baby friendly. Baby friendly hospitals are key. They really listen to the mama and the birth plan and facilitate for your empowerment. But so, anyways, they were able to induce her naturally at the hospital before Pitocin. And then she birthed her baby naturally. So cool. My first baby took about 14 hours beginning to finish, which is really not long. It's not too bad. It's long for some, but when you compare to 36-hour, week-long births, 14 hours is really not all that bad. However, my second baby, after doing this yoga, 3 hours and 51 minutes beginning to finish, and it really wasn't that intense. Just because I do this yoga though, for this third baby, I'm not guaranteeing that fast of a labor again. Could be faster, could be longer. It's gonna be whatever it's meant to be. So I just wanna try not to have expectation, but it's amazing when you help facilitate your body do what it does best, what can happen when you stay moving, when you're in that laboring process. Okay, we'll call it at that. Very good, mama. All right. So I'm gonna move this blanket out of the way. And the next thing we're gonna do, same thing with that curb walking, a little different. I'm gonna have both blocks here, just so you have kind of a stable ground. But you'll just come up, you can just do this, little marching in place. Oh, let's see, 10, 9, this is so great. So when you're farther along, getting to, I'll be 36 weeks this week. So when you're getting really close, but you can do this all throughout your pregnancy. There is kind of varying information on whether this can kind of like trigger labor. So this is really what I would say for labor prep. So the last 6 weeks of pregnancy, this is something you can do just to get your hips ready, right? Because you're doing, and it's amazing what's tilting forward and back, side to side. Right, so really helping the body. Let's go to the other side. Same thing. And it's amazing when you're very pregs how much of a workout this is. It's really good. But in labor, so that's what this class is all about. It's labor prep, but these are motions and movements that you can do in labor. So in labor, this is so powerful. All right, so you can do this on your stairs if you're at home, or if you're walking that hospital. Walking is so good in labor. But you find your healthy balance. You don't want to tucker yourself out. I will say though, when you're active and you're moving, it goes by faster, typically, especially when we release those pent-up emotions. Sometimes that's what stalls labor, is those pent-up emotions. So it can cause for really long labors. It's not speaking for everything and everyone, but here we are. Okay, we'll just do 2 more like this. And now we're gonna switch. So that's why I have a nice platform. So up, down, up, down. And now if you don't have blocks or stairs, you can always use a curb. So if you're really trying to get your baby to come out, curb can do. Breathe. And then if you're in labor, you can always just make sure there's sturdy blocks, and you hold on to a partner or a wall. These are very sturdy blocks, so feel comfortable doing this. And you can keep it kind of straight. Good, so I'm holding my hands like this as if I'm holding onto a partner. Try to keep yourself safe, Mama, especially if you're hoisting yourself up onto something. Gotta keep that baby safe. So I say 15, or do 30, do 50, See how you're feeling. Watch maybe your show, hands on your hips, and do your little, motion here. It's kind of like curb stepping. Which really helps, again, those hips. And then you can also do it long ways. So it could be up, and then I don't have a ton of space on this, but the long ways helps. Breathing. It's really nice to get a good burn on in pregnancy. All right, we'll call it at that. Okay, good burn and really good workout for your